when fixing up the room and doing some spring cleaning, I stumbled upon some artwork of mine, and this might come as a shock for you guys, but some of you, a lot of you probably will not know this. But before I was into toy collecting, I used to draw a lot. I read a lot of comic books, Marvel comic books, some DC, Image, back in high school, back in the 90s. And I was a comic book shop geek, and I would get my comic books every week. And then I stopped, and then when I started collecting toys again, I started getting back to the comic books. But back in the day, I would draw a lot of these superheroes, particularly the X-Men. I make posters out of them. So I'd like to show you some of my artwork. Just the PG-13 artwork, none of the R18 artwork, if you know what I mean. So let's get started. The first one I want to show you is this particular mural or artwork. This was a project for college. My major was in the humanities, and then I took a minor in Hispanic studies, and part of the requirement was to take 12 units of Spanish. And one of the Spanish classes, I think Spanish 2 or Español 2, we were supposed to come up with a poster or an ad for any product, a made-up product, and you had to draw it and all that, and you had to do, this was part of the exam. That was actually the bulk of the exam. Don't mind the stickers that my kids had stuck on it, but this ad was actually based off of a Psylocke illustration, one of the comic books, I forgot which one, but I patterned after that and I tried to draw it. It kind of got mucked up here. The watercolor had smudged her bangs, and it was supposed to be a purple colored hair, but the watercolor had faded over time, and that's what all I got left. Next up is this. I was a big Jim Lee fan, and Gambit was one of my favorite figures, or favorite characters, comic book characters, and I forgot which Uncanny X-Men comic book this was, but it was Gambit facing off against the Majestor, Gladiator of the Shi'ar Empire, and this was one of my favorite spreads in the comic book, and I really loved drawing Gambit back in the day. It's faded, there's a lot of mold on it, but I thought it was pretty cool. I would always draw the pencils and the inks, and then my younger brother, who's now in Seattle, who lives in Seattle now, would color it. So I can't take full credit for this artwork. The colors aren't mine, but the breakdowns and the inks are same thing. Breakdown and pencils and inks are mine. The colors are my brother's. I thought this was great. This was one of my favorite posters that I've actually done. Some female mutants. We got Jean, Megan. Oh, this was an interesting take on Polaris's costume. I actually like this one. I'm surprised that Hasbro has not done an action figure of Polaris in this costume. It's actually one of my favorites. It's kind of tacky, but I thought it was pretty okay. We got Jubilee, Shadowcat, or Kitty Pryde. Some of my earlier works, again, colors are my brother's. This was one of my posters when I was starting out. I didn't have the full comprehension of the figures, male and female figures, but I kept on copying images from the comic books, and this is what we came out with. My favorite, during that time, my favorite X-Men characters. I don't know why Cable's there. It's not really my favorite. Well, it was okay. This one I'm really proud of. The colors have faded. Again, my brother did the colors, but I really love this poster. I love the arrangement of it. Again, my favorite characters are here. Archangel, I guess Colossus, Gambit, Rogue. The three others were just fillers, but those are my favorite X-Men characters back in the day. I really like this one. All right, second to the last. This is probably one of my favorite posters. Second favorite posters. I really worked hard on this one, and I did the colors on this one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think I did the colors on this one. I used colored pencils. That's why they haven't completely faded. because it wasn't done in ink or in watercolor. I think it was colored pencil or colored markers or something like that. The Wildcats were the first comic book that Jim Lee made when they put up this Image Comics, and I love this comic book. I really did. One of my favorite characters, and I love the artwork, and I immediately tried to copy every single one. And my favorite of all was Spartan and Zealot. Those were my two favorite characters. The Grifter and Voodoo were close second and third and fourth, but I love this team. Really, really love this comic book. I wish there was some way they could get this one in the Marvel universe or in a movie, and we could get Hasbro to do the action figures, because Playmates did the action figures and they were okay, but not as great as if they were done by Hasbro. And finally, the poster I'm most proud of. This is my pièce de résistance. It was framed in glass, and the wind blew it down, and the glass broke, and I didn't have time or the budget to have it reframed. Just kept it on the side, stored it somewhere. Water had drenched it during rainy nights. I never noticed that the water was seeping in through the windows or whatever. Really ruined the poster. All the paint's been faded except for that silver. If you can see it, it's spelled out as mutants. It's been painted in silver. That's silver paint. That's why it's not, it hasn't faded, but all the other colors have faded. But this was one of my favorite. My brother and I worked very hard for this. My brother colored it. I did all the breakdowns, inks. Oh my goodness, it took us months to finish this, I think, because we were in school and we would do it on our spare time during the weekends. But this is my absolute favorite poster. It's just a shame. I don't know how I can restore this or anything like that, but I really had fun doing this one, and it's all the X-Men characters, X-Force, X-Factor, and all that. And I don't know if you can name every single character on this one. Let me put it down in the comment section below. But this was all mostly Jim Lee. Some I think were Strowman. There's some Will Spertasio in them. There's Quesada, Joe Quesada, but mostly Jim Lee, and I was very proud of this one, and I'm not gonna throw this one away. These are for keeps. So there you go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed a sneak peek of a little something you probably didn't know about me. My previous hobby before I was into toys, I was really into drawing comic book characters, and I copied a lot. Jim Lee was my favorite inspiration. And this was the thing that kept me up busy back in the day when I was in high school and for a while in college. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section what you think of my previous hobby. And as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time on this channel, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.